Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, Abhishek.
Yes, and a welcome to all of you who have come in for the event. I know it's not one of the plush, air-conditioned banquet halls in a five-star hotel, but that's what you do when you go to an event of a sports company like Puma. You get to the ground where the action is there.
Correct. Abhishek, Puma have targeted the corporate running market very, very aggressively. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure. So being a leading sports brand in the country and probably the leading running brand in the country, we thought that it is our responsibility to trigger the running movement in the country, which is happening all across, not just in Mumbai, but in all key cities of the country. India is getting more sports-oriented. The youths, the kids want to run more. Running is a key ingredient to success in sports. And we want to drive this running movement. It's our responsibility, as I said. And we realized that one of the best places to start with is the corporate India, because that's where people are today wanting to stay fit. They're running races, they're running marathons, half marathons. And we came in with this concept where we joined hands with Runners for Life, where it is a corporate running tournament. It's 5 kilometers into 4. It's a corporate relay. So not just it promotes running and fitness, but it also promotes, in some ways, corporate camaraderie and spirit. So running as a thread in organizations to tie people together, and there can be nothing more motivating than sports itself. So that's the idea of Urban Stampede. I'm so glad to be a part of this event.
Fantastic. I believe you have a video to show us on the Urban Stampede.
Yes, about what we have reached in Urban Stampede and where we're going to go. Yeah.
Fantastic. Can we have that? Who's dashing? I was the person who made him run a lot a few years ago.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about running and how important it is it in cricket?
Well, I suppose from my perspective, I stood out as a cricket player, definitely not as a batsman with a very average, but what certainly, I suppose, made people stand up and notice was the agility that I had in the field and the ability to go all day in the field. And I think that was important, that fitness levels then weren't even considered. You know, it's become such a scientific process too. And if you think about the apps and utilizing technology, but those days when you were chasing me around the field, it was pretty much there and back as fast as you could, and making sure that your fitness levels were maintained to a degree where you could play at the top level for all, the entire game. Whereas now it's become very specific with regards to, or very scientific even. If you're a batsman, a bowler, a wicketkeeper even, you've got a fitness trainer giving you those specific deals or jobs to do. And I think the greatest thing about running is that you can be anybody, and you can be any shape and size, and you can just get a pair of shoes on
and do it.
Hit the road.
Hit the road. Yeah. A couple of years ago, it's exactly like what he said. Our fitness was we put 2 cones 20 meters apart and we sprinted 10 times and did 20 sets after every single practice session. I can vouch for what his work ethic was like back then, and I know how much of hours you put in then. But can you tell us, what is Jonty's personal training regime like right now?
Well, right now it's about changing nappies at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, that's quite a difficult thing. It's probably the toughest job I've ever had to do. And fortunately, I'm kitted out for that very difficult task. But it's, for me, it's also about mixing up sports. And I grew up in South Africa with a lot of open space, which you don't always get here in India, which is why running is such a good option, because you don't need a pair of cricket spikes or hockey boots and a hockey stick. I think what I try and do is mix up as much as possible. So in India, I do visit the gym. I spend a lot of time on the field at practice. I have sort of 4 or 5 guys, not even 5, maybe 3 or 4 guys at a time, which is quite high intensity. But in South Africa, at home, I get a mountain bike, I've got a surfboard. I do have a pair of running shoes which sit there and cry and look at me and want me to take them out on the road a bit more often. But I like being outdoors, so it's not difficult to get me out. But I do like to mix it up. And I think that's, as a fielding coach in India, it's always a concern for me is that people, when you play cricket, it's just about running forwards and backwards. Football, badminton, they're all those sort of games that I grew up playing hockey, soccer. They all allowed me to field the way that I did, because it's sideways movement and it's giving you agility and explosive power. And, soccer players, one behind here, will show again that it's not just about, running forward.
Yeah, super. Jonty was the person who taught me that all those hours of practice is about preparing for an opportunity you don't know you're going to get. And that was one secret and one tip that I learned from him. So, and I've kept that with me all these years. Fantastic.
Pay me later. Sure of it.
Super. Ladies and gentlemen, and he's a multi-marathon runner himself, Mr. Amit War, please welcome. Super. Super. Amit, welcome to Puma Urban Stampede. You and your corporate is pioneering running in the country. You have something like, I believe, 4,000 employees who will be taking part in this event right now. You yourself are a marathon runner, a multi-marathon runner. Can you tell us why you're using running as a platform to drive health and wellness in the corporate industry?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the corporate world today, in terms of the work schedules, the work-life balance, the kind of travel people do, the kind of food habits, for example, there's tremendous need in terms of keeping the corporate world fit. And what I've seen is over the period of last few years, particularly in India, we've seen tremendous momentum in terms of fitness that's gaining ground in the corporate world. We at Accenture, as you rightly said, we lay a tremendous focus for a variety of reasons, keeping our employees fit. It also builds a certain level of camaraderie within the employees. It creates a level of team spirit. So we do invest a lot in terms of getting or participating in these events. And as rightly said, we have 4,000 people participating in this event, the Puma Urban Stampede this year. And hopefully the numbers keep growing for us.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Please join me in welcoming Sharmila Nicolette. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sharmila. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very, very well. So today we're here talking running, and you normally on the golf course swinging golf balls. And can you tell us, how do you incorporate running into your regime? Does it play an important part?
It definitely does. Well, let me explain. Where golf as a sport is concerned, it doesn't require a high level of cardiovascular endurance. You know, it's more about explosive power between short intervals. So I really make it a point to do a lot of sprint interval training at least twice a week, wherever the globe I might be on, go on a park, golf course, on the road. So I guess the more number of sprints you do, it kind of helps to increase that explosive part of it and helps to recover between shots as well. So I think it's very important for me. And I guess Puma, I love wearing all the Puma outfits, and it's great to use all the shots and the stuff. I use it all over. So for golf, yeah, it is. I feel like, well, let me think about the particular aspects of it.
I've spent a little bit of time on the PGA Tour, and when I was on there a few years ago, running wasn't really a very big thing. So are you seeing a bit of a trend changing on tour? Are you seeing that more girls are more active? Are you seeing that they're taking running, or is it?
Yeah, it does actually. A lot more girls run a lot, but you don't need you need a lot of short interval training, you know, to kind of get it into the sport. And it really helps me that way, and it's very important for everyone to maintain fitness and to be really good.
Absolutely.
Feel good about yourself while running as well. So
fantastic. And
Cheers.
thank you very much for taking time off the tour and joining us right here.
Can't wait to get to the race.
Fantastic. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the ISL lit up the TV airwaves very, very. Come on. Sandesh, welcome to the Puma Urban Stampede launch. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. So you were the most emerging player, right? How much running did you do?
See, the place I play right back, so it's a lot of running involved there. So I run a lot, I think, and yeah.
It's an integral, as Jonty was saying, it's an integral part of soccer as a sport. You know, you're changing direction all the time, you're sprinting, you're moving it. It has to be something, and it's a core part of your preparation and everything. So have you found that it's really helped you? Have you incorporated it into your training regime outside football?
Yeah, see, in football, running is very important. Like 70 or 80% is about running, and it's very explosive. So, you know, you need to work hard every day to improve your running and all, and yeah.
Okay, so what's the plans for the year? Any future plans with soccer?
Right now, I'm busy with my league. Current season is going on. And after that, we have World Cup qualifiers for the national team.
Fantastic.
So, and after that, ISL. So, inshallah, ISL will...
He's got a busy year ahead. He's got a busy year. Sandesh is also with the Kerala Blasters. So he's got, and all the best for that. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our next sporting icons that I'm going to get on board, or a running icon, she's also my fellow running ambassador at Puma. She's a marathon. She was one of the fastest women at the 2013 Mumbai Marathon. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Hayden. Come on. Hello.
Oh, I get a mic. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very
Lisa,
much.
we have been speaking about running, I think, for the last month on many, many stages
We
and many
have.
different platforms. So,
We
what can
have.
you tell us? You know, you've seen the property grow, you've seen running grow. This is something a little bit different. We launched Ignite just a few weeks ago, and we ran around the entire city. Now we're taking it to the corporates, where it's a shorter version. It's a 5K run, 4-man team. We're trying to really tackle the corporate culture. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fantastic that we're encouraging corporates to run, because there are a few corporates at Puma, like Nikhil over there, that I really think he should definitely participate in the Urban Stampede. But I think all of the running events that we've done so far have been really exciting, because for me it's so wonderful to interact with the runners around the country. We had a run in Bombay, then we did a run in Delhi, and now we're launching this here. So, I mean, running is my passion. I actually feel very intimidated on the stage full of wonderful and amazing athletes. I just do this for fun. but I think it's great that we're getting people involved and getting to share that experience with them, because when you're so passionate and you love something so much, it's just wonderful to interact with like-minded people that love and enjoy doing the same thing as you do. So let the corporates run.
Let the corporates run, okay. So, with no further ado, gentlemen, I'm going to invite my last guest on stage. He's the man who, together with Puma, conceptualized the entire Puma Urban Stampede. He is the CEO of Runners for Life. Please help me welcome Arvind. Hi, Arvind. Arvind, why don't you just share some thoughts? What was the vision behind Puma Urban Stampede? You've grown a phenomenal property, and we're going to see numbers like nothing else. So what were you thinking? You've brought us all here. Share us your thoughts.
I think you got that. You know, what was I thinking? So the idea was, 5 kilometers seems like a lot to a lot of people, right? You're thinking about it's the distance between where you live and that place, which is 5 kilometers away. I always take a bus or a car or an auto to go there. But we wanted to tell everybody that 5 kilometers is within, well, everybody's reach. And when you run your first 5 kilometers, then you're on a ladder you can't stop being on. And we wanted to make sure that lots of people have the thrill of doing that 5 kilometers and enjoying that. Why don't you guys come to the center?
Such a sexy t-shirt.
If you can hold it up.
Jonty, Rhodes, please come in the center.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Once we're done,
Jonty.
popular request. There are 7 people, so right in the center, 3 on either side. Yeah. So icons on one side, corporate here.
So to get one of these, you need to be running in Puma Urban Stampede.
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's the only way you're going to get them.
So that's how
you
you all are going to get them.
Yeah, not love, not money. Yeah, you're going to have to run it to earn it. Yeah, that's the whole point of it. So now we go to the part that I really like. Okay, we've got a relay race for all of you guys, right? So the idea is not to run 5 kilometers, because I don't know how many of you have got 25 minutes to wait, or 30 minutes in my case, right? Now we've got teams, and the teams are as follows. I'd like people to stand with their teams. It's Abhishek and Sandesh are one team. Sharmila and Shamala one team.
This side?
And Jonty and Amit are one team. Lisa, you're not running for reasons of your own.
I'm gonna be the person that moderates the race.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
We
So-
all need a race director.
I'm gonna supervise.
Yeah, perfect. She's so her judgment is final, right?
I'm gonna supervise the athletes.
Yeah. So the race is a 100-meter